Mistake that I see a lot of my athletes make, looking straight down. Look where you want to go. Don't look where you are. Felt big improvement, Keith says. So let's watch the big improvement that he was able to achieve. He's a master's athlete and his block starts are his weak spot, finding it very difficult to improve. He's a lot more comfortable with 3-point starts compared to blocks, so I shared my block start checklist. I mentioned that there's going to be some pressure on your arms and hands if you use this method. Most important part is keep your hips in good position. Keith gave it a try, came back, says, I'm not getting full pressure on the back pedal. Starts felt better, especially my arms, but didn't feel totally stuck to the back pedal. So Keith shared this footage with us that we're going to review right now. Okay, so this is Keith's first video that he shared. This was after watching the block start checklist. If you want live, personalized, frame-by-frame coaching, click the link below. So hips come straight up. That's excellent. Shifts back just a little bit to relieve the pressure off the fingertips. That's totally understandable. Boom. So he says after watching the video, it feels a lot more pressure on the blocks by pushing from hands. So I gave him some advice as to how he puts his arms on the ground and he's active in pushing the ground away from him and trying to apply the pressure from the top end as well as his legs to then meet at his hips. But his hands, he felt it more on his fingers. So the tips that I gave him is, yes, your fingers will hurt, but you will get used to it. For my master's clients in particular, I've noticed that it takes them a little bit longer to get used to the hand motion, right? When you're young, you're much more adaptable. You begin to develop in a way that helps you support the blocks on your hands. But when you're masters, you don't quite get into rhythm as quickly as far as your hands are concerned. That's one of the limiting factors I've seen for my master's athletes actually, and for my high school collegiate athletes that try this style of block start. So I let him relieve a little bit of the pressure on his hands. I gave him some tips there. Keep your shoulders slightly behind your hands. Now, this is not something I would tell my other athletes, but for Keith in particular, I let him know that it's okay. And we're just experimenting. And then here's the piece. Engage the ground actively, flowing through your fingers, hands, wrist, elbows, triceps, and shoulders. So you want to be completely locked, not locked elbows wise. You want your elbows a little bit bent, but you want to be pushing like a push-up with your upper body. And so then felt big improvement, Keith says. So let's watch the big improvement that he was able to achieve. Here goes one of the days. Keith was able to figure it out. Looks like a beautiful day and a beautiful track, right? He's got his yellow timing cone there. So maybe he was able to get some good times. Okay, so you see him adjusting to get everything that I asked him to do, which is to be powerful, pushing this way and with his legs pushing this way so that we get a nice power focal point of the hips, because the hips is really what's going to drive you forward. Track is, so many of sports are about your hips, right? So he's able to push out a little bit better there, but he's still falling a little bit, it looks like. Okay. Now let's pay attention to Keith's eyes. They're straight down, right? And what I would like Keith to do is to look 10 meters in front of him. This will help correct his body position a bit, right? It's going to help his body position. It's going to help him explode out of the blocks a bit better. Look where you want to go. Don't look where you are. A mistake that I see a lot of my athletes make, looking straight down. Good. So one of the other tips I gave him is, so I teach to put both knees down, right? And what you're going to see when he does that is that his hips shift forward. And that's what we want. But I allowed him to pick up that front knee, which I allow some of my athletes to do, as long as the hips don't sit back. And they come back a little bit, but they're actually in a good position, right? We want to be straight up and down there, which he is. Nice flat back here. Also very good. Comes up to set. Now this is what I love to see, Keith. Nice job. The stretch on that calf, okay? This shin at 45, right? I'm a big fan of these angles here. We want to move that up there. We want to move this down here. There we go. That's a nice 145 angle right there. Let's see if I can do it on this leg. There we go. A nice 90 degrees on that front leg, finally. Now, Keith, what we have to work on is that movement there, right? So you want to lower your hips a little bit to then push. So what I would tell you is maybe don't put your hips so high initially, and possibly that, I know you moved the back block back once, but you might want to move it forward just a bit maybe. But that's a better angle out of the blocks than what you did previously. Real quick, if you're here but want to be here, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The bad news is no matter your goal, whether it's getting a D1 scholarship or taking your program to the next level, there are no shortcuts to success. The good news is there are secrets to success, and that's exactly what we go over in Speed Lab. When you get there, I have a sprint mastery course free for you. On top of the X's and O's that we cover in our classroom, the real secret to success is the community around you. And at Speed Lab, we're focused on creating a community of people that are dedicated to reaching their biggest goals. We're here to share wins, to go over film, and to discuss how we are achieving our goals and what is setting us back. The number one tip I can give you right now is to join Speed Lab, find an accountability partner, and chase your dreams.